All right, hi everyone. This is Michael Condon, and this is the TooMedToo Star Wars Network, and this is something that we have been planning and talking about for a little while now. And I was going to start it till after my vacation. And oh, Anthony, there's a lot. Okay, I was going to start till after my vacation, probably the end of
Got it.
February, March, but the opportunity came up today because our friend James and Andrew at Rebel Scum Podcast weren't doing theirs, so it was suggested that I fill their time spot. And of course, I can't really compete with their show or their, what they do. So I decided to bring this in, and it is the Holocron House. And what we're going to be doing is going through visual dictionaries and encyclopedias and books and doing a live chat with y'all so that we can start talking about them and sharing our ideas and how we feel. And today we're going to have with us none other than Rural Farm Boy.
Howdy, friends. Yes, let's talk about this and thoughts and ideas, and there's a lot to be talked about
There is, and
in
that's
this here
where
book.
I didn't want to say, we're going to do this page to this page or, um, section one, section two, section three, because we might talk about one page for a half hour, or we could go through 10 pages in a half hour. So, I just did it kind of the same way that, I do sessions. I don't know if, when you have sessions with your friends, if you know what that means, and, we're just going to pass some knowledge on to each other. So, once again,
Oh,
it's this book.
it could even be topic by topic or
This
character
book
by
right here.
character, or different
Yeah.
weapons, different ships. There's a lot to get deep
So
and wide about in this book.
and well, we like deep and wide, so
So
you
where do we
never really
start?
know what kind of tangents we go on or what it's going to be. This isn't going to be long form, really, like the Bacta tank, TooMedToo's Bacta tank, which can sometimes get out of hand and go crazy hours. This is going to be kind of short and sweet, so you can actually watch it in segments. And if you're not here to participate, that's fine too. So yeah, it wasn't really planned. It was just kind of impromptu, and we started to go. But what we have here, in case you don't have the book with you,
Hmm,
um, I have something to help you out with that, and it is
I hadn't thought of that.
this.
Ha ha ha! Looky there.
So now you
So
see, just
you got it on Kindle too.
I had, yes sir.
Oh, so it's
Um,
pocket portable. Nice.
so I may have to adjust. I can't adjust the height of it, but down at the bottom, you see it says Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, or the Visual Dictionary. It also says with exclusive cross sections. I might have to see if I can zoom out of that a little bit, just to give you. Okay, that might be better. There you go. There's the whole. There's the whole book for you. So depending on what you're using to read it,
Charlie Skywalker's aboard.
Charlie Skywalker's here. And of course, anybody that wants to hop on, just let me know. I already put it in the top there of the screen, but we'll start right at the top. You have the obviously one of the Knights of Ren. Um, he has a Vibro Sith blade for your cover. You have at the top you have a tie dagger. You have Dio. You have Janna's bow on the left. Underneath that, you have C3PO carrying everyone's weaponry. Um, you have the Sith Trooper helmet over on the right hand side, and none other than Rey. Now, obviously, you should be well aware, if you are here, there is going to be many spoilers when we talk about things. So, just be aware of that. I mean, I don't know who would be here that wouldn't know that, but
I think we're a month and a half past. If folks ain't seen by now, I don't know, in my opinion, I'd say that's on them.
yeah. So that's what we have with the first page, and then we open up the book, and okay. Well, this is something you don't have on there, so this is a little different than what we have in the actual book.
The opening pages, okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to show you here real quick. I'm just taking a look because it is a little bit different. So let me come back over to here, and I'm going to do that for myself. Okay. Now, wow, this shirt really does not match, but what are you going to do? When you open up the book, this is what you get. You get, kind of see. So you have the trio, the big three, whatever you want to call them, standing there looking, and that is when they're getting ready to go to Star Wars version of.
They're on Pisana.
They're on Pisana. They're getting ready to go to Burning Man, the Star Wars version of that.
Is it Festival of the Elders, I believe?
Yeah, the Festival of the Elders, which happens every 42 years. Which, if you look at the movie when it came out, The Rise of Skywalker, 42 years before that would have been the original movie, Star Wars, when it came out.
You know what first come to mind, Michael, when I heard every 42 years, like 42. Think of something else that relates to 42. It's not in concern to Star Wars. I'll give you a little bitty hint. Well, no, I'll just go and say it straight up. It's like the universe and everything. You catch that one? There's a good hint.
I'm missing something here.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, okay. I was never into that, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would have never got that one. If we were on a trivia night or trivia contest, that would have been us failing miserably. That can't count to me. But
Christina
so then
Boras is in the chat, and she says, "Show me Kylo Ren, please."
Well, you will eventually be getting to Kylo Ren. I'm not sure where because I've only skimmed this book. Well, here, Christina, because you're new to this channel, I am going to show you Kylo Ren. Not only am I going to show you Kylo Ren, I am going to show you Kylo Ren.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh is right. I am going to show you Kylo Ren in his...
There we go. Look at that. There you go, Miss Christina.
Tie Whisperer. And Christina, as you know, you are eligible to win that because you are one of the subscribers in the contest for the road to 750. So we'll go back over to here. I don't know. Oh, you guys let me know. Do you want to?
She liked it. She liked it a lot.
We'll do that so you can still see Anthony and I, even though I can't see myself because I have to do this to get it on there. So
you come into this. So I got you covered.
You come into the screen. It's before you even have anything in the book. It's C-3PO, and he's holding Rey's salvaged quarterstaff. Rey's haversack. We'll go with that. The ammunition storage box on Chewbacca's bandolier. They're showing you that. He's got Chewbacca's bandolier, Chewbacca's bowcaster, and he has reinforced knee joints. And yes, of course, it tells you once again that is C-3PO.
Remember, friends, having reinforced knee joints, very helpful.
Yeah, I could use those. All right, and then we start getting into some of the where are we here? The weirder stuff or unknown stuff. You have, I guess it's OLT, a utility droid, or Zero LT. I'm not sure on that one. What we have the name for up there in the top corner.
Yeah, he looks like something. He looks like a droid you might find in a hangar bay. I'm thinking.
He has treaded foot pads, repurposed astromech dome for an obsolete model. So I mean that could be like a from Chopper or something like that. Maybe not Chopper himself, but a model similar to that, with the photoreceptor. And then all the way on the left-hand side, you have a Riot Control electropod. It has a heavy-duty power cable. T-70 X-Wing Starfighter. It has a yellow mark on it. It denotes that it's part of the Xanthos Squadron. And Xanthos Squadron, I believe, is that from Alphabet Squadron? Is that from something
No,
new?
that's not ringing. I want to say
Clone Wars. Ahsoka. Someone look into that and let us know.
Yes, please, because that's something. I'm thinking it's maybe in the way of comics because I don't follow Star Wars comics, and they get pretty deep and wide with different things there, especially what happened with there was a run for Poe Dameron and some things that were after Last Jedi. I'm wondering if maybe that's in relation to that. And also, T-70s are a staple for the Resistance, but they have so very few of them.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put that in my my notes right now to find
Where that squadron name come from?
yes.
Yeah, I'm curious now.
Well, I'm gonna have that answer for you in the Bacta tank tonight.
Alrighty.
So that'll be part of my mission that I choose to accept. Make sure I got this right on here. All right. So yeah, I think because some of the different colors, I'm pretty sure in the Clone Wars, Ahsoka had yellow, but I could be wrong on that. If we had Trevor Beast in here, I'm sure he would know. He's good at breaking that stuff down. Okay, and then we have underneath that Rey's quarantine suspensor, repulsor field conductor ring. I'm not really sure what that is.
But I don't got a thing for it either.
Well, you know what? As we go on in this book, we're going to find out what all these things up here are. I'm almost positive that they'll have it broken down for you. Then we have Babu Frick's Magna Spanner. It has a torque-impelling jaw. That's very exciting, riveting information. Wizich Moser. I have no idea who that is, but once again, we're gonna find that out. His sleeves cover taste receptor hairs, so he's some type of fly creature, and he tastes with his arms, which could be kind of disgusting, I might guess. Especially if somebody grabs you, that might be kind of nasty, but whatever. So then we have Kylo Ren's
picture in my head. Thank you.
Well, we have Kylo Ren's helmet. It cracks welded with Cercian iron, and that was Cercian, same, tomato. That's like at AT-AT. It's all the same thing. But that was one of the big things before the movie. People were talking about the helmet being fixed with a red material, red chemical, and does that have to do with the old Chinese practice of fixing something, and the glue or cement or whatever that holds it together then is red, and you celebrate the cracks and imperfections because things aren't perfect. We never really got an answer for that as far as I know. It's just kind of the shit they filled it with was red, was kind of what happened.
Sarasian iron, as we're told. And on we go.
So we have Quantum Computer Diagnostic Laboratory, which has a visualization display shroud, processor plane calibrator, and a shielded ion trap. So once again, something that we're probably going to find out later on in this book in the next 200 pages, what we have. And then we have the Festbox Drum Mallet. No idea what that is. A BoostBot BFB7. It has a simplified logic center and servo motor equipped riser. Once again, something not really sure what the hell that is.
But it's very helpful. It's very helpful.
Okay. Well, we have somebody in here that I'm not sure who he is, but Chris Jarvis, thanks for joining us. He says that the internet says the Xantho Squadron is only mentioned in the dictionary.
Aha. Thank you, Chris.
So, see, we have an interactive, that's why it's interactive, and we talk about this, and people that want to hop in the chat, let us know, and we'll bring you in. Anybody wants to hop in, let me know. And then the next one we have Jezebel B. Isa. She is wearing a rattling pally pit necklace, monocoat fiber hood, appropriate for warm sun. So I'm going to guess it's maybe kind of reflective of the light, or breathes very well. Not really sure. Flowing caftan allows for unimpeded
from
dance.
The sun and the heat onto sauna. It's protection from sun and heat.
Well, it says appropriate for warm sun, so I'm going to guess that it's like, if you were out, you'd wear a windbreaker, something like that. Very light, breathable, and keeps you from getting sunburned. But
Yep. In relation to that, in a desert, you need some protection from the heat and the sun, sure, and something that breathes well, just like what she's wearing.
And then in my dictionary, the visual dictionary, at the bottom it says written by Pablo Hidalgo, and in the one I'm sharing with everyone, it says written by Pablo Hidalgo with illustrations by Kemp Remillard.
Yep.
Okay. The next page we have here is table of contents. Not really too important because we're going to go through page by page and see what we have. Just really quick, the story so far: Chapter 1, Chapter 2, The Rise of Skywalker, Chapter 3, The First Order, Chapter 4, The Resistance, Chapter 5, Pasana, Chapter 6, Kajimi, Chapter 7, Kef Bir, Chapter 8, The Final Battle, Chapter 9, Behind the Scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the forward. I would just like to say, as we start the forward, this is brought to you by Chris King, Kylo Customs, Rural Farm Boy, and Mr. Rez. Those are my Patreons. If you would like to be a Patreon and hear me say your name whenever I do a video, it's just used to, not for my toys and my addiction for Black Series and Funkos that I don't collect. It's for cameras and memory and computer and, paying for websites and things like that. We have the Ambassador. The Ambassador is here. Thanks for joining us, Ambassador. It's good to have you. I've been to your chat a few times and seen you around in Mad Max and Darth Longo a few times, so it's good to have you stop by. I appreciate that. But anyways, okay. So let me take a sip of this. Not that you guys can't. Actually,
Michael?
I am sipping Hawaiian Punch or something like that. Fruit C.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a sip of my own right here. Some spotchka.
I thought it might be some something apricot.
What I'm sipping?
Yeah.
No, spotchka.
Thought,
Think the Mandalorian.
I know. I thought it might be some apricot brandy
The,
or something, but you know.
the
All right.
bluey. Folks want some recipe for it, send me a DM. I'll be glad to share.
All right. So
We are at the forward.
we are. So we're almost getting ready to start. Um, so forward. As a former literature major, I would like to say that the most well-worn book in my library is War and Peace, or Moby Dick. The truth is that distinction belongs to the book called The Return of the Jedi Sketchbook, a 1983 paperback that I looked at just about every night before bed from age 6 to 10. Return of the Jedi was the first movie I ever saw, and saw and saw. My parents gamely, if wearily, submitted to my demands to be driven to the cinema every Saturday for an entire summer to watch and rewatch the third installment of the Star Wars trilogy. When I wasn't watching the film, I would pore over the Jedi scrapbook. Even at that age, I could not believe that it was some adult's job, to sit at a sketchpad and imagine the Star Wars galaxy, to create a sail barge fit for a hut, or the sticks and stones warfare of the Ewoks, or the unlikely vertical of a B-wing fighter. 30-odd years later, I had the astonishing luck to be asked by J.J. Abrams to work with him on crafting a script from the end of the J.J. Abrams to work with him on crafting the script for the end of the Skywalker saga. And I'm still not convinced that I have not been dreaming for the last 2 years. Imagine how the heart of a lifelong, well, I'm not doing too well here. Lifelong Star Wars fan.
Let me pick you up after the next paragraph.
Okay. Leapt upon seeing in the concept drawing of Kevin Jenkins, or hearing the shamanic ideas of Rick Carter, as we spent half an hour with Kathy Kennedy, Michelle Rejoin, and our friend and Captain JJ, puzzling over how we would include the central myth of our lives.
Imagine trying to contain yourself when ushered into a cram pad workshop to see Neil Scanlon's visionary creature designs for the first time, or standing on the deck of a Star Destroyer, looking at a green screen, but imagining worlds that Roger Guyette and his team of wizards eventually conjure outside of the viewport window. There was never a shooting day that I didn't make sure that 6-year-old me was standing alongside 40-year-old me, with both of us lost in a galaxy where we would both happily spend the rest of our lives. Rise of Skywalker, the visual dictionary, written by one of this planet's greatest Star Wars authorities, Abba Hidalgo, allows readers to share the experience of living in the worlds created for the film. The characters, the creatures, the planets, the ships, the weapons. This book shows us a place where novelty and legacy meet to create dreamscapes that both feel entirely new and utterly true to the galaxy that George Lucas dreamt up more than 40 years ago. I hope there are 6-year-olds and 60-year-olds who will wear it out. Chris Terrio.
All right, and Chris Terrio, as we know, was the co-writer of the Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. We're not going to get into that right now because that's not what this is about. If you want to talk about that, you know where to come at 8:30, and we talk about
Yep.
whatever the hell we want to. So I gotta flip the page for y'all too. Okay. So we need to get rid of this guy.
Oh, the timeline, the 66-year-long timeline.
Yes. So we have the introduction. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker concludes the storyline that leapt into screens in The Force Awakens. It is not only the multi-anticipated finale of the current Star Wars trilogy, but the entire trilogy of trilogies. The conclusion to the long-promised 9-episode Star Wars saga that centers on the travails of the Skywalker family and their allies. The roster of heroes has expanded to include such memorable characters as Rey, Finn, and Poe Dameron, who together must stop the evil Kylo Ren and a forgotten darkness that stirs in the very depths of the galaxy's own regions. A book like this one has accompanied each film. Now, much like Episode 9, the visual dictionary promises to be bigger and filled with revelations. As the Star Wars saga continues, this guide will look back onto the entirety of the trilogy, examine how Episode 10, how Episode 9, Episode 10, Anthony, you know what that means. It's a Freudian slip. They're coming. Episode 9 connects to what has become, what has come before, and offer insights into what happens on screen and off, and the dramatic conclusion of the greatest space fantasy of all time. Okay,
Can't be no Episode 10. Story's over. Done told.
We're not talking about that here. That's later on tonight. We'll argue about that We'll argue like that for 10 or 20 minutes, like we always do.
Just had to go and say. Okay,
I know.
Where are we going
Okay, so now this is the timeline. This is the timeline that some people had a little problem with because they decided that without doing any research or asking any questions, that this has now replaced the timeline that we knew of before. And even though Matt Martin came out and said, no, this is for the book. And he didn't say this, but if you look at this book that I have for Rogue One, it's the exact same. They have a timeline on Rogue One. It has to do with, what pertains to this. So it doesn't care about what happened 1,000 years ago. It cares about what happened, relevant to this story or this saga, because as we know, the galaxy is far and wide and it goes on for years and years. There's a beginning and there's no end, but there's a middle. So that story still hasn't been told, to kind of use Anthony's rural farm boy's words. But that's how we that's how it starts off, and it says right here, this is a record of history as it relates to the current galactic conflict. Events here are recorded in years relative to the Star Killer incident, the firing of the weapon that destroyed the Hosnian system, marking the start of open war against the First Order.
Yeah, there's some folks that are maybe taking a momentary issue for that, because we're pretty used to, for I want to say at least the past 20 years, that we know the timeline as BBY and ABY, and now they're thinking they're going to try to go and turn this into something and forget all that. No, it's included in. This is just one smaller part of the later part of the story of a much larger story. It's all inclusive. It all still counts. This is just telling the end of the story.
It says it right there in the book in front of your face.
Yes.
I'm trying to keep this one. We're not going crazy like sometimes I do and go off on my wild tangents, and I teach myself words I didn't even know I knew, some swear words. But I'm going to try and keep myself good on this one, because this isn't the Bacta tank. So, Nick's here. Nick, thanks for stopping by, buddy. So we have BSI, before Star Killer Incident, and ASI, after Star Killer Incident. And we start off And 66 BSI, which roughly at the top of my head would be about 30, 31 BBY. If you want to put it like that.
Sounds about right.
Well, Anakin Skywalker begins training. He was 50 when he died.
No,
so
he was
he's
45.
45.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, that's right. He was 45. So,
let me skip you back one. The very first one says, Senator Palpatine of Naboo, secretly the Sith Lord Darth Sidious, elected as Chancellor of the Galactic Republic. Around about the same time, as you were saying, Michael, Anakin Skywalker begins his Jedi training. 66 BSI. 66 my favorite number because that's when I was born. Here we go. Carrying on.
And then at the same time, in the same time frame year-wise, defeated of Darth Maul proves the Jedi that long believed extinct Sith have returned.
Mm-hmm.
So that was obviously when Obi-Wan now it says defeats Darth Maul because, as we know, he was not killed, as we were all led to believe.
That ain't entirely correct. Yeah, just like that.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody thought that Darth Maul died. He was killed, but no, he was just defeated. He was cut in half, but defeated. So, that's where we go from there. And then we're gonna go back down around. We're gonna skip all the way to 56 BSI, and a separatist crisis in the Republic, stoked by Darth Sidious and Darth Tyrannus, erupts into the Clone Wars. Palpatine uses emergency measures to stay in power. Accelerated militarization across the galaxy to wage Clone Wars. Padme Amidala, my future wife, Senator of Naboo, and Anakin secretly wed that bastard.
He beats
so
the
that's
two.
so 66 is the Phantom Menace. 56 is Attack of the Clones, all roughly in there a little bit. Then we skip ahead again to 53 BSI, where we have a lot going on here. We're going to start, let's see. I was just looking at it really quick to see what kind of makes sense to talk about first, but the Jedi learn Palpatine is Darth Sidious and try to arrest him, but he puts down what he describes as a Jedi insurrection. Anakin pledges loyalty to Sidious, becoming Darth Vader. Order 66 enacted, executing huge number of Jedis as traitors to the Republic. Padme dies, giving birth to twins named Luke and Leia. They are separated shortly after birth for their own safety. As Clone Wars ends, Sidious renames the Galactic Republic the Galactic Empire. Now secure as Emperor, Sidious begins delving deep into dark side Arcana. Some word that sounds like Arcana. Including the hunt for immortality. So, this is Revenge of the Sith, which also brings into, I know we'll talk about the Bacta tank tonight. I know we've talked about it before, especially with Clone Wars coming out. How long the actual movie of the Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith, how many days or how many weeks that takes, or months or years that takes over. We're not going to talk about that here because that's going to take up all our time we have for today. And I want to get it through at least the introduction, which looks like that's going to be all the time we're going to have for today. But so that's something that's something for us to talk about in the Box Tank. So if I forget that because I don't have it in my notes, you know, that's what it's going to be. Christina, I hope we see you at the Box Tank tonight, 8:30 on this network. You know, this was an impromptu thing. This is usually Rebel Scum's time to do their live stream, and they needed someone to fill their time spot. So, you know, of course, I can't fill their spot because I don't do what they do. I'm not them. But I said, well, you know, I can go on at the same time. So, anyways, 52 BSI. Emperor claims Ilium, an ancient Jedi temple world, and begins a huge terraforming project there.
Whatever could that be?
Well, maybe it will tell us a little bit later on. But here's a spoiler. So if you don't want to know any spoilers for any video games, I don't think I've been to Ilium yet in Fallen Order, but I'm pretty sure Ilium's in Fallen Order, from what I've heard the rumors of.
Oh, really? Is it?
I mean, I could be wrong, but I thought that was rumors that I've heard. So,
well, I'm going to try and keep up with your streaming of that story, and we'll see if it goes there or if it don't.
Well, I just got a really weird. No, I got a really weird text message, so that's why. Somebody I haven't talked to in a couple years just invited me to start playing darts with them. So that was whatever.
Interesting.
So then 46 BSI, Vader takes up residency in a newly constructed castle on Mustafar. That is where he wanted his castle. I don't remember in which book it is, but in one of the books.
That's a comic. That's in the comics.
Well, he's given the option of where he can have it, and he chooses Mustafar. Because he's a sadistic something. Okay, 44 BSI. It says, make Solo 2 happen. Oh, wait, no, that's not what it says in the book. It says, rookie smuggler Han Solo wins fighter Millennium Falcon from Lando Calrissian.
Also, if you see the hashtag make Solo 2 happen, retweet it. You see it? Retweet it, please.
Yes, sir. 36 BSI, the Rebel Alliance coalesces to challenge growing tyranny of Empire. And then 34 BSI, Palpatine dissolves Senate as his new Death Star super weapon is readied. Vader discovers Luke is his son, but keeps discovering secret from the Emperor. Luke joins Princess Leia's rebel cell and destroys Death Star at Battle of Yavin.
Now in A New Hope time period.
Yep. It sure is. It seems a little bit off with like the top one. Vader discovers Luke is his son. I didn't think that was until Empire.
No, that's from the original or this past that ended Star Wars comic run, the first one, where we see him on the Star Destroyer bridge, and Boba Fett tells him he discovered the identity of the person that destroyed the first Death Star, and tells him his name was Skywalker, and then Fett leaves, and Vader says, I have a son, and then we see those viewports cracking because of his anger. That's where that comes from.
Okay, yeah. See, I'm not up on the comics. I talked to the bros over at Broaxium a while ago, and they set me up with a list of comics that I should start to read. And of course, I got Comixology, and then when I got Comixology, I was like, oh, I want to read this one too, and this one too, and this one too, and I added all these comics to my list that I have, because Comixology, it's $6 a month, and you get unlimited back issues for most of them.
The only way I'm up on following all of this is because of the podcast friends that talk about it. Yeah,
Yep.
they tell me these stories, and that's how I keep up.
So then we have 31 BSI. Luke discovers Vader is his father. Rebels are routed at the Battle of Hoth. And then we go to 30 BSI, which I'm going to guess is Return of the Jedi. Sorry, I need to wet my whistle.
You want me to take that one?
Sure, you can take 30.
Sidious tries to convert Luke to the dark side, but Luke is saved by Vader, who regains his identity of Anakin Skywalker. We skip right down to the bottom. Spies deliver intelligence location of a second Death Star under construction. Oh, whoa, we did that backwards. Leading to the Battle of Endor. The deaths of Vader and Sidious bring the end to the Sith conspiracy, but belief in Sith ideals continues to secret cult on Exegol, with Yukteshu and the Acolytes of the Beyond. The Imperial fleet retreats from Endor and fragments to be hunted down by New Republic efforts. There we go.
You got one more in there.
Oh, Han and Leia wed. Luke begins training Leia in the ways of the Force.
So here you go. A lot of things that people didn't like or have problems with, they're saying things are being retconned. You can't show everything in the movie. If you watched Star Wars originally in the theater, or if you watched it on reruns, there's stuff that they don't tell you about in the movie. There's a lot of stuff they don't tell you about, and you just take it as that's Star Wars. That's they told me this is the reason. That's what the reason is. We don't need to know everything. The Emperor is not even mentioned in the first in Episode 4. We just know Darth Vader. He's the big bad guy. Things like that. And then no one says, well, where was the Emperor in the first one? He was never mentioned, so who cares? But anyways, get it on with that. 29 BSI. Let's see, what do we think here's first? Imperial Fleet Gallius Rex collects bulk of Imperial Navy at Jakku after defeat by the New Republic. Surviving ships jump to unknown regions. Leia ends her Jedi training on Aegean Kloss upon seeing visions of the future and recognizing where galaxy needs her most. Lando Calrissian liberates Cloud City. Official founding of New Republic and capitalization of Galactic Empire. Ben Solo born on Chandilla. And then we skip ahead 10 years. Luke begins training Ben. And when Luke begins training Ben, Rey is born. I don't know what that means. Kind of like we talked about when we found out Baby Yoda came about and he was 50. And that was 5 years after Return of the Jedi. And we just talked about who died when they were 45.
Anakin Skywalker, as we know him when he saved his son.
Yep, so that means that Yoda was born at the same time Darth Vader died. So, don't know if that means anything or not, but put that in your pipe and smoke it all, y'all. 13 BSI. Rey is abandoned on Jakku by her parents, who die shortly thereafter.
They were killed. Spoilers.
Sensing the continued presence of the dark side, Luke starts investigating leads that mention Exegol. Then we go ahead to 6 BSI. Ben Solo destroys Luke's Jedi Temple. Luke vanishes. Han and Leia drift apart. Leia Organa is ousted from public politics by scandal. She begins forming a paramilitary resistance group. And
that's from
six,
Bloodline.
I was going to say, so 6 BSI is when Bloodlines takes place.
Yes, it is.
Mr. S is saying what? Because we're probably talking too fast for him. We'll slow it down a little bit here.
Maybe he needs to slow down. Maybe we're doing all right and he's going too fast. What I'm thinking.
That could be it too. Now we're at 5 BSI. World Succeed.
I got this one.
All right.
Yes, World Secede from the New Republic. I did not know that. Forming visible political core of the First Order. Its military core grows in secret in the unknown regions, while its spiritual core grows somewhere even more hidden. I got nothing on that. That sounds like a story we got yet to be told. Yeah, that's something they're telling us this right here for a reason. That's a story we got yet to be told. I'm thinking
there's a pretty good chance at that. I do believe.
We shall see. The bottom two, with the resistance staffed to operational levels, Leia begins to search for Luke, and that would be maybe just a step for Force Awakens, I'm thinking. Or maybe right in that general timeline, I'm thinking.
No, because if you skip ahead now to the next one,
Okay.
You have the year of 0. Rey and Finn, fugitives from the First Order, leave Jakku aboard Millennium Falcon with fragment of map to Luke Skywalker.
Oh, so, TFA starts right there. Gotcha.
Yep. And that covers the year. The beginning to the end or whatever.
Only two more left.
Yep. So you have Starkiller superweapon obliterates. There you go. There's the word. Obliterates New Republic capital. Ben Solo, now known as Kylo Ren, kills his father. Spoiler. Starkiller is destroyed by Resistance. Rey finds and trains with Luke. Kylo becomes supreme leader. Luke becomes one with the Force.
Well said.
Near routing of Resistance at Battle of Crate. Reoccurring visions. Oh, I'm sorry. Now that was 0. This is at 1 ASI. So this is the first time we have anything that is after Starkiller incident.
It is.
Recurring visions and voices in the Force move Rey and Kylo into another fateful confrontation. Excuse me. I don't know if the microphone picked that up, but I just belched pretty loud, so it was nice and disgusting of me. Great manners. My mother would slap me. No, she wouldn't. She'd just say, Michael, I'm disappointed in you. She would never hit me. That's why I turned out the way I did. So, yeah, that takes us through to, we're ready to start chapter 1. But I think that's going to have to wait till next time.
Yeah,
we're trying to pick
it up next time.
Keep these to about an hour or so. And we're at about 50-some minutes right now. So the next time we will be starting this, we'll be going to chapter 1, the story so far. Now, no one read this because I don't want you to...
Or read it and be prepared for the next time.
Yes, that too. And, any of you that have a VD, if you have VD, let us know and join in the conversation.
Yes, please do. So we'll take a short little break here for just maybe about 30 parsecs, and hopefully lots of friends can come jump in the back of the tank, because there's things to be talked about.
There are. We got a couple things to talk about. I'm not sure what Anthony's got to talk about, but I don't have anything major. I tried to have a great conversation last week, and everyone said, no, we agree with you. You're right. And I was like, shit, I thought somebody would, or shoot.
Well,
I thought there'd be some different
that's
opinions.
That's the thing about last week. It's last week.
Yep.
This is this week. No,
Yep.
there's things to be talked about and discussed and passed around and passed back and forth. And we're going to do that in 30 parsecs, as I understand.
At 8:35 is the
Yep.
go time. And I believe Pete Feltzer has something going on at 8 o'clock tonight. So
yes, he does.
you can go.
Him, Andy Lemire, and Becca Benjamin, and I'm going to ask him. I'm going to have to send him a DM and include him in that live chat crew so we can kind of coordinate this so that we can kind of cross. So friends don't miss what other friends are doing. That everybody can be included in what each other's doing.
I mean, it's inevitable that as we grow as a live chat crew and more people start doing live chats, we're gonna have chats that overlap. There's nothing we can do about that. We just want to make sure that that everyone knows that he's going on at 8 o'clock tonight. So this ends at in a minute or two. You go catch him for whatever you want to do. You want to come catch him for an hour or a half hour and come start with me, or you want to catch him for the whole thing. And when you're done, stop back over, whatever it is. We, hop back and forth. But I'm going to be catching him to start. So even though I got a bunch of stuff I got to do, I'm going to do a little bit on the computer, watching them and listening to them. I'm going to do a little bit on my phone while I take the dog out. And,
I'm gonna go spend a little bit of time over there with him before I jump back into back to tank. And
Charlie Skywalker, he's doing Tuesdays.
Tomorrow night.
This is just going to be kind of a whenever thing. Hopefully Rural Farm Boy can do it with me every time, and I can make plans with him, and we can have it a little bit better planned out instead of, hey, in a half hour, this is what we're doing, so we can get some more of our friends in here talking about it. But yeah, it's going to be, whenever I can fit in with my work schedule. Once again, I'm on mornings this week, then I go away for my birthday, and then I'm on mornings the end of next week, and then I go back to in between. So I'm working like 1 to 9 and 2 to 10. So I'm in between shifts that we normally have. So this is we'll try and we'll talk about more in the back to tank. I'm not gonna bother people with this, so that just want to come in here and talk about the book. So
nope. Yeah, we'll be back here in 35 minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Till then, let's go pick up another friend.
Yep. Thank you very much for stopping by. It was great to have you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you. All right. See you, Anthony. See you in a half hour.
Yes, sir.
Whoa, I don't know what I just did there. But, okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. I'll talk to you guys soon. Don't forget, Back to Tank 8:35 tonight. If you're watching, if you're not watching this live, it's every Monday at 8:35 Eastern Standard Time on this network. I said good day. May the Force be with you.